Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Please confirm. Okay, this live is going to be very important. Not just for me, for all of you. Because recently something happened. Something happened. I think a week or two ago. So I thought like sharing that with you because that is something will change the way you look at web development currently, or in general your career. Because in recently one of the project had to start with phase 2. Okay, and in that only I think I was the only one who knew node. Okay, so give me a moment, let other people also join, then we'll talk about that and how you know justifies what I often say to everyone, that you should be in a position to claim, at least to claim yourself a full stack developer, and you cannot claim unless you know about it. Okay, so let me ping the team. Let me ping to all my WhatsApp group team. If they can join, then I'll tell you how we actually should be looking into. Okay. So recently, what happened is like phase 2 was to start. I hope I'm audible, right? Can somebody confirm in the chat? So what happened recently is like this project was ongoing for last 2 3 years. Okay, and it was working stable. Everything was fine. And the guy who was developing, who was kind of a senior architect, left the company. Okay, and they were looking for someone who can work on almost all the tech stack, you can say, like the Node, React, Azure, um, and few more tech stack were there. And in the entire team, I was the only one who knew about it. Okay, had this not been the case, because deliverable is 31st of March. Okay, it started in mid of Feb, and 31st we have to finish, and I already have started working. Till now, they have not been able to find any other way. Okay, I'm still the one who is handling this. So just okay, audio clear. Okay, okay, thank you for confirming. So now imagine a situation, if let's say you are in you're working. Okay, now maybe for some scenario you are on bench or something, and you can see that okay, there are opportunities out there, but it is not exactly in the tech stack which let's say you are working on, maybe .NET or C Sharp or any other, and you're working in a top-notch company. Okay, big MNCs. Now just because you didn't had that one tech stack, would you really wanna lose out on the job, or go on bench and be in stress that when I'm gonna lose my job? You should know. So that's why I thought discussing this very clearly, and I also shared a Google sheet with some of you. Okay, so those who haven't fulfilled it, let me share my WhatsApp link here, WhatsApp channel link. Okay, so those who haven't joined, join it and fill the form. Tomorrow also I'm coming live to share all the interview question answers, uh, which I've gathered from some of you guys, and a lot of are my own personal experiences, including scenario based question. And some of the guys have got interviews. So after that, I'll collectively create a video as well explaining how you, because a lot of people are failing in scenario based interviews as well. So now just imagine yourself as a C sharp developer currently, who don't feel comfortable when somebody is talking about full stack, or maybe Angular or Azure. First of all, let me tell you very clearly how I started thinking or looking at it. Because when I get inside, I was slightly fortunate because my training started in one end C sharp, and parallelly Angular as well. So from day one itself, my mind always thought these two technologies to be one. Okay, why? Because when we used to create variable in C sharp, it was like public. and few keywords, access modifier, the type, and the variable name, and we assign the value. Very similar thing I observed in Angular as well. Only thing was the access modifier was missing. Just because of that, when I see hi Suraj, hi Mayur, thank you very much, guys. Suraj is he joins quite often. So just because one tech stack missing out. Sorry, I was talking about the similarity, right? How I started looking at it. So even now, I genuinely claim that backend, front end is no different. It's just they have got their different responsibilities. Okay. If you talk about backend, what it does, it looks into the business logic. Simply, we write APIs, uh, do business manipulation, talk to DB, and all those things. And when it comes to front end, we create a responsive UI, isn't it? Which uh, we call client for easier understanding, or in general, so that people can immediately relate to, or can have a look and click a button, do something on their own, who are not technically people, who are not coming from the technical background. So if you look at those both things collectively, no, then you'll no longer be in a space where you think like, okay, I need to learn a new tech stack. And I can assure you, once you start uh, creating small fundamental, let's say, variables, or pull some data from DB, you will realize what I'm saying is exactly what we do. So you can start with understanding the architecture. So it's not the language or programming language or the internal working of it is important. It's actually the architect, how that particular application is responsible for doing something, what it actually helps us achieve. Just keep this one thing in mind, and you will realize, without even you realizing, you will feel that okay, this tech stack also belongs to me. Okay. And that's one of the reason why even people with so much experience, I see, they're not able to reach where they should have. A lot of people here, I'm telling you, just the other day, one of the guy reached out to me. He has been offered 40 plus and he's expecting 45 with TCS, and the negotiation is still going on. So just adding few tech stack doesn't harm you, I can tell you. It only enhances. So it's not, and don't do it in pressure that okay, I have to do somehow. No, take a chill pill, wait, go slow, plan next 1 or 2 years that how you actually want to look, look into it, how you actually want to start, and do stepwise manner. And without even you realizing, you will reach there. So let me try to find one thing, the sheets which I shared, and some of you responded to that. Okay, so that's where few genuine concern also we can discuss about. And also if you have anything, definitely you can fill those forms. I will personally look into it and try to see what exactly the area. One of the guy is currently with me. I take one session with him every every weekend. And when he started, he was he was actually intern. Okay, so he was doing some Python scripting and all, but he was not completely into web dev. So I started explaining him exactly in this way, and he thought like, is it really this simple? And I can assure you, this is exactly this simple. It's just the architect, you understand that what, for instance, Angular or React is responsible for, how it has been, emerged as a technology, why JavaScript alone can't do things. Okay, and without even you realizing, as I said, it will be smoother, much smoother learning. So learning will come later. First, you have to do the mental mapping. That is it really worth, uh, looking into this, or my uh, I mean, first of all, you have to define, what kind of full stack you want to. Planning to become, let's say, good in backend API plus microservices. Maybe that is also a good career. Or you want to look into everything. Everyone who has got experience of around 3 to 5 to 6 years, I would strongly encourage to go for everything. what it will change. A lot of you might think that I'm talking about money all the time. It's not about money. It's about the time we are investing. Are we getting paid enough or not? Okay. So if you've got all the tech stack, even even very smallest company, here, forget about big companies. They will be more than happy to hire you because you one who can handle multiple things parallelly. And since you are the one architecting, you are the one planning how this application will eventually look like. They will be like pouring the money, literally pouring the money. How come this guy, which I'm talking about, I forgot the name, or even if I would have, I wouldn't have told the name. How come this guy is getting 45 in TCS? Because of the tech stack, and it is impossible to achieve just by memorizing things. So that's what hands-on. That's where hands-on comes into the picture. That whatever you're learning, do some hands-on. So start with C sharp, which I'm assuming all of us know, right? .NET framework, all of us know. Now transitioning to Angular or React, whichever language you are comfortable in, go with project based, as I often say. Build any sort of project. Any project is fine. As long as you're building, that's important. No, uh, there's no some criteria that unless you build this, you'll be called a developer or you'll get to learn it. Every project is fine as long as you are including all the you know component of that particular language. It's your when you're working with Angular, work with components, create forms. What is the difference between template driven and other forms? By doing this, you will be in a position whenever you write something like that in your resume, that okay, these are the tech stack I've worked on. And when you are in interview, maybe round one, round two will be fine. But let's say during the discussion, a client asks you a scenario. You, despite you watching a lot of videos, because I'm anyways gonna share all my scenario based interview experience here one by one. Even if you try, and you will observe one thing in all my video, that I would say I will always mention that whatever I'm writing, write it. Because when you write now, it gets stuck there. And while you're debating or discussing with the interviewer, you are in a very good position to exactly map that. Okay, you're talking about two components interacting. So if you go with like input and output, no, it looks theoretical. And that's not very justifiable all the time. But the moment you say, yes, I created a component where there was a teacher dashboard and there was a student dashboard, and whenever teacher used to assign a assignment, it used to come to the student dashboard, and how it used to, that will change. That's exactly where it will change. And you don't have to, that's where you have to, don't even look into the lengthy tutorials of 100 hours or 50 hours. It happens within 3 to 6 months. And how Azure comes into the picture? Full stack, where you will store, where you will get the images, blob storage, where you'll deploy the application, where you are going to use different app services. So if you look at the, if you are mentally prepared that okay, now I'm convinced that these are not different technology, they are part of an ecosystem, which can be one in front end, definitely one in back end, which is C sharp.net, and so on, and the deployment. If three things are there, even if you don't have microservices, a lot of other things, because if you look at the JD these days, it is so big. I mean, it's so big. So you don't have to get into all other aspects. And the reason why I often talk about these three in particular, even in the age of AI, the moment you get into the front end part, the moment you're comfortable with Angular, I can assure you, React will not look too far to you. You can start mapping. Okay, we create component like this in Angular, and in React we do it like this. Okay, structure is different, but there are a lot of things I can relate. Since Angular is a framework, I already have it installed there through Node. But in JavaScript, I might have to import a library. But they look exactly the same. 0.01 millisecond, time difference doesn't make any difference in particular. So now my resume look like, and this project which I was talking about, it is in Node and React. I'm taking it. And what's my identity? I'm a .NET full stack developer. But how come, that project manager know that this is the guy who can do that? Because I can justify that. They just don't take me by looking at my face or my resume. I have to justify. And the reason I could justify is because I create very small projects. And that's why in coming up live, I'm thinking of showing to you how I learn a new language. Uh, I'm planning to create a full stack application through Node, which will be out of comfort of all of us who are here or in our community. I'll show it to you, and I can assure you, 90% of you will think like, yeah, I can relate to almost everything which you have done, because you'll see the same variable kind of whenever we are creating a variable, you will look exactly, oh yes, I can relate to this. Only thing is that, like, okay, fine, the access modifier is not there. If you learn a language in this language, this mental mapping, through this mental mapping, without even you realizing, it will be your language. And all the discussion around LinkedIn and all is complete nonsense. That LinkedIn versus Angular, sorry, what is that? Angular versus React, C Sharp versus Java. I can read the entire repo of a Java developer without even having a lot of confusion. Maybe where this framework comes into the picture, I might not be very comfortable, but I'll be able to relate, because in my mind, no language is different for me from the day one. Because, and all of for all of you also, it's just that you guys have not realized. Just recall where you actually started your career. Maybe in 10th or 11th, you must have learned C, or 12th C, then CPP, maybe in your second semester, maybe, then Java, then other language. So how you were able to do it? Just because now you guys in industry, you think, no, I am comfortable with this, I don't know that. So this thought itself, is pushing, basically pulling you from reaching to that mark where you actually deserve. Today, you know, I'm telling you, a lot of people, let's take the example of TCS itself. A lot of people who are working for 18 years, 15 years, and they're getting same 45, 50. And this guy which I'm talking about, he was in Accenture, again, big MNC. He was getting Accenture or Cognizant, I can't recall the exact name. He was getting 35 to 36. And now most probably he'll reach 45, because the confidence I saw. I'll have a discussion. Actually, he wanted me to call. I forgot. I was busy. But I'll talk to him and want to understand. And he has got exact same experience as mine, almost 8 years. Please, never consider yourself. First of all, you have to get out of that mindset that I am comfortable in this framework. Comfort is the problem. And second thing is, I have a lot of responsibility. How will I manage? That is also wrong. If you've got so many responsibility, that's fine. Then your preparation bandwidth will increase. Maybe I am free, so I'll be I'll be ready with things in 6 months. You might be ready in 2 years. That's fine. But at least we'll reach, right? Instead of being exploited by the same organization, same team, same manager again and again, why can't we push ourselves slightly and go there? So coming to the part, it's very straightforward. First of all, mental mapping. Let me try to see if I can share the screen or not. I have created few slides which might help you. You know, be visual. Okay. So first of all, the first thing we will be doing is stop thinking ourselves, or stop enclosing ourselves in a particular tech stack. That I am a Java developer, I am a C Sharp developer. Stop that. Second thing, uh, I'm bringing a different topic here. Sorry for that. In resume, don't write your designation. In Hitachi, my official designation is, I think, senior consultant two or something. But I never write that in the resume. I would write, maybe on LinkedIn I write, but on resume I am a .NET full stack developer with 8 years of experience. Simple. Resume part will come to that and later on. Okay. First, we'll see the basics. That three topic which I talked about. Only 5 6 slides will definitely clear out everything, every confusion a lot of people have. So the slide which I have not included is that mental mapping. Please, humble request, all of you who are within 6 years of range, You are from today no longer a backend developer. Yes, you are a backend developer officially, but in your mind, you will not be. Okay? Because from today itself, take your time, take a breathe, and think if let's say you have got a lot of responsibility, wait for 1 month, 2 months, that's totally fine. And especially if you are in a job, don't switch or don't start, thinking that, okay, I'll prepare, I'll go and switch. No, start from the core, because this is the age where it would be much easier for you to get into product companies like Siemens and a lot of companies. If you're in WhatsApp group, you know how many companies I name. A lot of people don't even know that they need a .NET C# developer. So take your time. If you have no idea, those who have idea, then though I don't think they need my advice at all. But those who have never touched front end, those who are not very comfortable what Azure is, for them I'm here to help. So there is a, what is this, client, okay, and technical vocabulary, guys. Start adding as much technical vocabulary as in your language. In one of the video I talked about, while I was explaining about creating the object. So whenever you write where x equals to new whatever, what is x? A lot of people say something, but it's actually officially it's object reference variable, which keeps the object reference. Okay, so use those things, and your interview will change like anything. If you don't believe me, I have given hundreds of interviews. I don't say just for the sake of saying. I have been giving interviews all day long, because I was so many times I was on bench and different scenarios. Sometimes I was kind of a laid off, not officially, but HR reach out to you, asking you to resign and all. But not about that. Today we'll talk about this. So whenever you're talking about UI, this is what UI looks like, and the backend code, which I'll show you, is exactly very similar to C# code. Same classes, same object, same constructor, same dependency injection, same services. It will not be very different. But the responsibility of UI is these things. That's all. Okay. It consumes the API and the API which we create using backend. And then eventually we talk to database. Okay. What backend does? Backend is where we write the business logic. Okay, if an application is responsible for mm, uh, school management one, let's take for example, if a student will be promoted to the next section only. Rajguru is saying something. Acha, Rajguru will talk about question and all. I'll open the session and we'll talk. That's why PPC JDs have knowledge depth requirement on particular. Yes, yes, and you have to showcase yourself. Yeah, see, we if you look at the word human resource, initially it used to be like insulting word for me, that I'm a human and they are presenting me as a resource. But now I think it's one of the most beautiful word in the IT industry. Why? Because I am as a resource, and it is in my hand how I want to present to a company or to against a particular job, right? So if I have 5 tech stacks or 8 tech stack, you it's even possible to cover all the interview question on each topic. It's not, first of all. So I'm not teaching you to lie, but what I am telling you is you can have multiple tech stack and mention like, okay, I am very comfortable in these tech stack, and there are some which I've worked, or maybe personally I've worked on, but I've not got the in-depth understanding of that. Okay, so these are the responsibility of backend. All of us know. All of us have written everything what I've written here. All of us know. The only problem comes when we see this, especially coming from a backend developer background. We think like, what has happened? How these are interacting? The beauty of understanding application end to end is not just being able to justify in an interview. The beauty is that you start looking into an application like the bird view, from the bird view, right from the UI till it is interacting to database. You can map everything entirely here. And if you have any of you, like I have personally, you know, I would love to become a architect, solution architect. Then this probably is the only thing uh, gonna make you there. Because if you don't understand the insights, and if you just think of a client as a dot which we represent often, then you'll not be, it will be very difficult. Then you'll always remain, you know, backend developer with fair enough good package everything. But if you want to become an architect where obviously your demand will be to like whatever you want, then understanding in this way will be very easy, very important. So that's why don't always look at a application from a backend point of view while going inside the controller, what that business application is doing and all. Also try to look where exactly that call is coming from, which button eventually calls this particular controller. And I can assure you, you will do for one controller, you would like to do it for all of them, you know. And that's how you yourself will learn without any help that how we actually scale that application. That's exactly what I am doing in phase 2 of the application which I was talking about. Include a lot of functionality because I have to develop both front end and back end. Going to this node part, that where I think when I was in fourth year, at that time, yeah, at that time, there was a small portion of the application which was to transition into .NET. It was written in Node, okay, and I literally had no idea. The same advice which I gave you just now, a senior gave me, that Shubham, don't even look at it as if it's a Node application. Okay, it's just a business application written in whatever language. You just look at the functionality it is implementing and took it there, and now you will add a controller, add a model, implement it. And since then, my way of looking or the way I look at projects, even now today, is completely different from the way I used to, maybe let's say 5 years back. Okay, so this was this simple, guys. Okay, now let's try to address few questions which has come to us through the um, Google Sheet, Google Form. And meanwhile, now you talk about the anything which I can help you. Like if you feel stuck or if you don't know where exactly to start from, now you can talk about it. Meanwhile, you put your questions and let me. And yes, let's read out each question one by one, and we'll try to understand what this person is facing. So there's a guy, okay, he has got 2 years of experience, and but I okay, that's a real question, okay, real kind of concerns which all of us should learn from. Okay, I think light is not good, guys. So let me. Is it even possible? Okay, leave that. So this guy is, I have absconded my company, first company, due to the bad politics. I don't know how to proceed ahead in career. So if you are in life, currently you are working or not? I mean, this is a huge mistake, man. You literally have, spoiled your own career in a way. If you are here, please ping me or ping me in WhatsApp. You might have our WhatsApp group, right? I mean, this is a serious concern. Why did you do that? Politics is that, it's fine. But unless you would have found a job or something, you shouldn't have done that. It's risky. Oh my gosh. This is risky. Now we have to do something about this part. Okay, since you have done that, let's see. I'll talk to you, Sachin. We'll talk about it because it looks tricky. Now, how will you justify a question whenever you were to go, and if let's say they send this review comment, how will you justify? Difficult, brother, difficult. But we'll see. We'll talk about it. How can we? But genuinely, frankly speaking, it's a risky thing. You shouldn't have done that. Okay. Now, other thing is, okay. Now the second part, somebody has 3 to 5 years of experience and a backend developer. Okay, great. And goal is to increase the salary. Okay, so salary concern. Fair. Front. What is stopping you from the transition? Fear of front end complexity. Front end is not at all complex. It's just that we have felt it, or because of those LinkedIn status which people share, where they justify that if you are a backend, if you call yourself a, there is some important saying, which to mock people like us who are front full stack developer. They would say this nonsense, stupid guys. They will say, if you call yourself a full stack developer, then you are not even a backend developer, not even a front end developer, not even Azure developer. It's complete nonsense. I proved it. 13th of February, literally in Hitachi, two of the my manager were fighting that I need Shubham for 1.5 months. What kind of justification is that? So don't look into those kind of LinkedIn comments. Front end is not complex. I'm telling you, it's not very complex. It's just that how we start depends. Okay, Shibli, Aman, it's not complex. And anyways, you are on this channel. I'll tell you, whatever learning we will do it through project. Okay, I'll be creating a project, and while creating, I'll explain this is how we define a variable. I will not start with like learning variable and all. I'm just doing it for JavaScript because JavaScript is the core, and companies do expect even C# developer to know some JavaScript, because you remember .NET was very closely working with jQuery. jQuery is kind of a part of C#, so their JavaScript is in usage. That's why JavaScript I'm going slow, but while learning Angular and this one React. Acha guys, can you tell us? I'm thinking of sharing all my Angular interview question answer and Azure interview question answer in a separate playlist. If you guys think it's a right idea, let me know. Accordingly, I'll do. And Shibli doesn't have real project experience. Okay, that's totally fine. You don't have to do some personal project. 3 4 project idea I already have shared. Today I'll share it on my WhatsApp channel as well. Okay, pick anyone, start creating. Start with very slow. Create a simple web form. Some, not web form in C sharp, a web application which asks you to, which allows you to log in, which just gives you username and password. And don't save anywhere, save it in memory. Your first UI project will be ready, and you will feel better. Okay, you don't have to learn HTML today or CSS, because those things are, we've got fantastic libraries out there. So don't waste your time doing that. Okay, just create. Those who have never touched front end side, or those who have never touched Azure, simplest one, simplest project I'll give you. Create a login form. Okay, once login, display the user who are registered, basically registration and login in the same form, and host that application, the static application, as app service in Azure. Just do that, because unless you touch that, you will always feel alienated. Log into Azure, yeah. Please log into Azure and use any service which you think is the easiest or simplest one. Simplest one, I'm telling you, app service, blob storage, Azure SQL, and the moment you write in resume, your stature will increase. Acha, meanwhile, let me take few questions from here also, and the form also. And she doesn't know the structured roadmap. As I said, if you're learning Angular, go slow. Start with component. What Angular architecture is about? It has got today, actually, because of time constraint, I'll not be explaining in depth, but tomorrow also will connect, where I'll be explaining my personal experience coming from service to product background, and in that one, I will try my best to create even a project. Actually, the reason I'm not creating project in live, because I'm already sharing my scenario based interview question. In that one, I anyways have created those things right from the NGGC, everything, even the command I've given you. So my video will be long, but if you go through one question, I can assure you, if you are somewhere in between 6 to 8 years of experience, or like 3 to 8 years of experience, one single video will give you at least 10 12 questions in single video. through one concept, because that's exactly what my next video is coming from. Scenario based background. How, the question, very popular question, which you can expect 9 out of 10 times, that how we upload large file in from client to database. And majority of the people, what they think like, we'll use iForm interface, and then we'll stream it and it will happen. Those who think in this way, look at that video and then you come and tell me that was your thinking correct? Absolutely, you'll be rejected in client round if you answer that one, iForm and streaming and all. Okay, okay, she prefers React. Okay, she prefers React, and confidence is very low. So I hope after this live, at least you're feeling confident. They are not different technologies; they are one. It's just mentally you have to start thinking that I am a developer who can work on anything. If you are not comfortable with the word full stack, don't use it. But I'm a developer who can work end to end. I know C sharps, and that is more than enough for me to get into the programming. And now I can work on any language. And I will definitely now, through your question, I got a video idea as well. Because if you're not comfortable, I'll show you how you will become comfortable with other tech stack, which are not in my. Node was not at all my comfort zone, but I learned it. And then I created so many projects personally. I literally had to pay Google for cloud storage because I create so many projects, and I'm not thinking of deleting them immediately because that might be helpful. Maybe I'll put it in the Git or repo somewhere. You guys can enjoy using them, play with it. You can do those things. Okay, so what was the name? Shibli. If my answer gives you something, some approach, that's fine. Otherwise, reach out to me. I'll try to schedule a one-to-one with you. But it is very easy. First of all, mental mapping has to be there. You have to feel that okay, you are a developer and UI is not at all complex. So that's why I'm telling you, create a login form and then tell me, was it really complex? And now if you're thinking in a very big project, so you don't have to. I think your experience is in between 3 to 5 years. That's fine. Currently, if you tell interviewer that I have basic understanding of it, I have only used in 2 projects. That's more than enough. If you say there's 2 projects, they won't grill you basically. Not too much. You'll be sorted. Otherwise, we'll connect if you need any other help. Sachin Bhai, your question. Current role, okay, you are already a full stack developer. Move to leadership role. Yes. Now, Sachin, tell me honestly. I think you are already in the call. How about your communication? Communication is the key, boss. If your communication is not at, let's say, uh, give me a second. Give me a second. Communication is something that plays extremely critical role. Extremely. I would rather say 90% time. 90% time, it's not about how you are answering the question. Sorry, the way you are answering the question. It's about how you have structured answering the question. And communication, that's exactly where communication comes into the picture. So, Sachin, please tell me honestly about your communication. If communication is sorted, then you're sorted. Then leadership will not go anywhere. Shall I tell you my personal story? Okay. I usually don't try to indulge my own personal thing, but since I feel like my personal experiences help people, let me tell you. Recently, the project which I'm talking about, the phase two, which was to start, the client is, I think, German or something. Here, the one more guy was there who was good in React, but not good in Node. But I got this opportunity because of the communication. Okay, because I have to speak long here, you might not even realize. You know, I can turn my communication in 2 ways. If let's say I'm talking to a British, I will use lift. When I'm talking to a second, you have to be calm down because now you will be dealing with a lot of juniors, and you cannot slap them or insult them. So build from scratch. Okay, think of those juniors as your pillars. in order to achieve whatever deliverables you are responsible for. First of all, that has to be there, and that's where, you know, if you're experienced enough, then I forgot to see your experience. Have you mentioned it? 8+ years of experience. Okay, you are very close to what I am currently. So around 8 years, you must have started involving your few juniors in bug fixes, or if let's say they are stuck somewhere, they must have been reaching out to you. Then definitely use this opportunity to believe that you are leading these three people, and how you are helping them not just to solve that bug, but in general how you're changing their mind of leadership. Because whenever we talk about manager, we usually hate it, right? Because they don't understand things, they don't understand technical part, and they just put us in a spot and they would like give me this in a week or something. So those things has to be gone there. But give me a second. But above all, communication has to be there. Communication is the key when it comes to you are transitioning to project lead or project owner, technical project owner, maybe project manager, all these things. But communication has got to come there. Okay. Okay. He also planning to learn Angular. Okay. Learn Angular is to my favorite. So I'm also learning. So I'm also sharing content. Learn it from there. Do some personal project. If you think somebody is good, then take a course. But I avoid courses because courses doesn't help here. It's just waste of time. And Harini is 3 to 5 years of experience. He or she is full stack developer. Architecture knowledge. Yes, yes, yes. For architecture, I will be definitely creating a video through the recent project which I have started, the phase two part, and how I, gave the architect solution to them, which they find more feasible, and now client has to update their architecture of how they want it. Okay, because and understanding, the concept remains same. When you create a project starting from scratch, the same advice which I'm going to other juniors, even experienced people can do that. All we need to do is like we will make it more complex. If you have watched my video, .NET to full stack journey, 7 8 minutes of video, in that one I'm creating a school management, and how many things I'm adding. Student dashboard will be interacting to, teacher will be interacting to student will be interacting again to teacher, things will be stored on Azure. That's how, if you think in end-to-end way, then architecture is not that far from us. Even for me, I mean, I'm also learning. So don't just learn things in pieces. Collectively, you think that, okay, if a student has completed an assignment and I want to send it back to the teacher for review, what are the components will come into the picture? The cloud, database, everything. The UI. In that way, we can. Okay, fear of. Okay, she's also fearing of front end complexity. She doesn't have a real project. Okay, time management. Okay, time. Yeah, yeah, time management. I can understand. All of us are having family responsibility and all thing in between, but we have to somehow manage, somehow try to at least wherever we can. And if time constraint is there, as I said, take a longer. Plan your switch maybe after 1.5 or 2 years. I've often reiterated, guys, that my plan of next switch might come after 3 4 years, because in next 3 4 years I will get myself so strong in system design that no company can say no to me, because that's the only missing piece for me. I'm very good at DSA. I'm very good at backend, front end, end-to-end project communication. I mean, ठीक ठाक. I can manage all. The only thing missing part here is that system design. My and understand design principle and sort of this is not system design means. I'll show you that in form upload part video, where we literally have to explain end to end, and that's where. So I clear few rounds, but I still struggle when it comes to big companies like JP Morgan or typical product based companies. So system design is the next thing which I'm working on. So those who are targeting architect role, they have to get their this system design very strong. System design has to be very strong. because majority of the interview, will be driven in there. Sabli is done. Okay, next is okay. Let's take a few questions from here. Okay, Rajguru. Acha, Siddharth. If interviewers ask, explain the flow of JWT in your project, then how to start and let's say you need to explain what exactly need. Okay, okay, fair enough. So let's say you are asked, explain the role of JWT, right? Flow of JWT. Okay, so what you have to start with JWT, you will define, okay, what a JSON web token is, what it represents, how it helps you to secure, and now you'll talk about the components inside it, the roles, then expiry time and all, and where exactly you configure that. So let's say if I am explaining them, then I'll explain like I will inject it in the middleware with the roles, expiry timing and all through the middleware, and then in the controller we have to decorate that with the security decorator. I'm missing out the name, and that's how our that particular action method will be secured. So if you want a video, I'll create a separate video on this question. I think I already have created one JWT question. Okay, you can go through Siddharth. Resources of freshers as well. Okay, more sir. Freshers. Okay, fine, fine. I'll have a look and we'll check what are the resources I can find for freshers for simple, or maybe I'll give you a. Okay, let me plan for freshers also. 0 to 3 years of experience. Actually, one of the guy I told he's taking mentorship from me. I have asked him to create the project. So once that project is done, I will share with you guys. Okay, and you can scale that one based on whatever need that is required, or even let's say I will create user stories for you. These are the things these are the areas you can add upon. What if I learn front end with just point that I can understand code without writing myself? Okay, okay. And I'm a depth in backend, huh? Okay. Cloud microservice. Mhm. Yeah, Rajguru, I think that is something. If you can understand the UI as well, right? You can understand the point. Okay. Then though definitely in interview it will be helpful that I have not worked on end to end, but I have understanding of how front end works and how it actually interacts with the backend. That much we can definitely say. But it's good for interviews, not for high package role. Okay. Maybe your CV will get shortlisted, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to clear, because the moment you have written, now imagine the role which I'm talking about, which the phase 2 we started. If I don't have UI understanding, then I won't be able to create those UI pages. I'll be able to write the backend logic, but UI has to be done there, and UI is such an easy thing. Why would I allow other people to come into? I mean, I'm okay, but why? As a company, you have to think, right? Why a company would like to call somebody instead of a full stack developer? Why I should go and hire a front end, back end separately? Okay, so that's why what you said now is fine to write it in the resume, but I would suggest you to create small projects here, because so much knowledge you already have. Look at that backend, cloud, microservices, Redis, Kafka, everything you have. Why are you missing on them? If you have just switch, calm down, take a deep breath, slowly you learn. Or if you're planning, then please add it in the next 3 to 6 months. It will be there, and whatever package you will ask, you'll get it for sure. Okay, meanwhile, if anyone has got question, put it, else let me look into the Google form which I shared with him. Name is not there. 8 plus years of experience. He's a backend guy. Okay, he is also planning to transition to full stack. Don't know the structured roadmap. Okay, let's connect tomorrow. Yeah. Let's connect tomorrow at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Let's only talk about front end, because I see a lot of people have difficulty in the this. Let me see the roadmap which I created is already there or not. Give me a second. Give me a moment. I think I have. Okay. Oh, individual roadmap of Angular I can't access now. Okay, no problem. Tomorrow I'll do that. Tomorrow I'll share only the Angular roadmap for you. And on WhatsApp group I will share in sometimes immediately. You can have it. Rakesh, 3 to 5 years experience backend. He wants to crack the product company. Okay, so you have to 3 to 5. Best time, best time. Those who have got 3 to 5 years of experience, somewhere around 6, best time to go into the product company. DSA, DSA has to be there, whether you like it or not. I'm really sorry. A lot of people hate DSA, but without DSA, I don't think even in the AI era, you can get into product company. Okay, I'm saying this because I failed so many DSA rounds. I used to fail like a lot of interviews, and I'm even now I feel so irritated and bad because had I cracked those interviews that time, in the entire structure, in my entire future, I always would have been in the product company. Now eventually I landed in Hitachi, and that's fine. But prior to that, I was in service-based companies, UST and one more some PSI. My point is, when you have experience of around 5 to 6 years, or below 6 years, or below even 10 to 12 years, DSA is one of the key which would help you to get into product. Without that, I think the round one itself, the entire round, yeah, it's in DSA. So first of all, you have to create the clear that round, and then only the second, subsequent rounds will. So DSA is the filtering round even today, and I can say this with my personal experience. In December, I applied for which company? I forgot the name, but in the first round, I had to clear that one. But by the time there was some, thought came to my mind that shall I switch or not? Then I realized no, it's not the time. It's just 1.5 year. So I rejected that plan. But since they were offering a lot of things, so that's why I thought of just giving the interview. And I also keep giving interviews just to be in the zone that okay, even if I were to sit today, I'll manage. So DSA has to be there. Rakesh, I think Rakesh, right? Yes, Rakesh. So Rakesh, you have to start with DSA first. Okay. And currently, since you have only backend, that's fine. Now, if your DSA is top notch now, then other tech stack doesn't matter. Then next tech stack will land you in a higher paying job. Those tech stack are not for getting a job. But if DSA is not that good, then you actually compensate with a lot of tech stack. Okay. If DSA is good, then what else? I mean, DSA, backend C Sharp, Java, whatever, front end UI, pick anyone, whichever you like. I like both. So I have, as I said, I have never discriminated against any tech stack. Angular is mine, React is mine. Why would I get into the factor of Angular versus React? I don't. For me, it's both the same, and I love both of them. Azure and Azure. Okay, Azure is a very interesting thing. When you're using those services which developers require, then make sure apply the same logic in AWS also, because they are exactly the same, only the name difference. In your resume, it will enhance that okay, he has touched AWS also. And you have to understand those guys who are creating the JDs, they are not very technically sound. Okay, so since client has mentioned AWS, they also mentioned AWS without understanding that the client is looking for somebody who can allow a video or an image to be uploaded. That's blob storage. The same relevant you will find in AWS also. So we as a technical guy developer should not fall into this trap, because we know, right, that same thing will happen exactly the same way. Steps might change one or two. So mention that or use it for your own benefit. Then comes one more guy. The response is loading. Sorry guys, I have only 5 minutes. Let me. If you have anything, please let me know. Else, we'll wind up today. Tomorrow we'll sit for long. Maybe we'll create a small project also. We will extend this one, where I will get into the in-depth planning of how, if you're strong in C Sharp and .NET, then how you learn Angular stepwise manner, and then how you learn Azure stepwise manner. These three tech stack is more than enough to get any any salary anywhere. Service or product doesn't matter. Same thing 3 to 5 years. Okay, so majority of the people have the same concern that they are stuck in backend as a backend developer, and they want to transition. Tomorrow, I'm definitely gonna share not just the the roadmap along with the project ideas. And a lot of people told me like the project idea we don't know how to implement. So those implementation steps will be there. Okay, I thought like since you have worked on few projects, you will be able to map it. But a lot of people I see are facing difficulty, which I understand, which I realized that later on that okay, just giving the project idea will not work. How exactly you will start? How you will structure? And that's where architecture mindset will come into the picture. A lot of people have that difficulty, that they're not able to relate end to end, and what an architecture role represents. Those things we will discuss here, and I'll exactly show you. Definitely, I'll not use the exact project theory here, but very similar kind of thing we will try to replicate. So let's connect tomorrow. Okay, guys. So for today, that's it. Tomorrow, let's reconnect, and tomorrow let's talk about both Azure and Angular both. The exact roadmap, end-to-end roadmap, how we will be implementing them. And I'll try to create a small project in front of you so that you feel comfortable with it. I don't want any my C Sharp or .NET guy to feel uncomfortable or feel that UI is very complex. I'll show you, I'll prove you that UI is not at all complex. UI is fun. It is like detox when we are so tired with backend, complex business logic, a lot of controllers, a lot of action and all. OI, this UI comes in to rescue us. That because in UI, the moment you touch something, you will see it. In backend, you have to deploy and see the UI is something you can see immediately. So UI is fun. So let's create a small Angular project tomorrow. Okay. Uh, Let me plan the project idea. I'll update you by 11 in the WhatsApp group what we will be doing. So please install Visual Studio Code. Uh, be ready with npm, Node. Get ready with all these things. Tomorrow, let's create a project. Okay. Let me come up with an idea which will be relevant for junior also, mid level also, and those who are around us like 8 to 10 years. Let's create a project right in front of you. Okay. Tomorrow we will create a project. Tomorrow let me plan that project, uh, give you the architecture and how and what are the tools we will be using. But request to be ready with VS Code, Node. These two are fine, and Angular. Tomorrow we'll do Angular. Next week maybe we'll do for React also. There's a lot of demand for React as well. And if there's a demand, let's utilize this. Okay. So let's come connect tomorrow. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. And enjoy. अभी जाके कुछ पढ़ाई मत करो. जाओ. Enjoy करो family के साथ. पार्टी वार्टी करो यार. पब जाओ. Bye. Thank you.